Hello guys, my name is June. This is the story of my entitled sister Tina and how she got her just desserts. Before I begin, let me give you some background about my life. I'm Tina's oldest sister. Our parents died when I was only a tween. My sister was even younger and didn't remember them much. It was our paternal Uncle Josh who took us in and raised us as his own. He never married and considered us his own children. He was a rich lawyer who also owned a lot of money. Josh and my parents went through a difficult time when my grandparents died with a mountain of debt. They had a very luxurious lifestyle before my grandparents died. After their death, Josh and my parents had to sell everything to clear the debts. As a result, they were left with nothing. Thankfully, Josh was able to become a big lawyer and earn lots of money. He also made a bunch of good investments and grew his savings. My parents, unfortunately, got into a bad crowd and died from a drug overdose. Since then, Josh has been our only parent. Unfortunately, me and my sister grew up to be completely different people. She didn't remember much of our troubled life with our parents. She was used to seeing Josh's riches and having a good life. So she quickly became an entitled woman. The friends she associated with also encouraged her to spend lots of money while not caring for anyone else. That is why, even at 24, she didn't have a job. I tried to talk to her about it. I said, "Tina, you need to be more responsible with your life. Just because Josh gives you money, that doesn't mean you should not try to earn something for yourself." "Why the hell would I do that, June? Josh has plenty of money to give me. When he dies, you and me will inherit everything. You can let go of your share since you work a good job." "Tina, what is wrong with you? Josh is well and alive. You don't have to start thinking about an inheritance right now. You better not mention this in front of Josh." I was appalled to hear Tina's logic. What was worse was that Josh had recently been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and his chances of survival are slim. He wasn't very sick at that moment, but his health was steadily declining. So Josh decided to sit us down and tell us about what he had been thinking about. He said, "You know what, guys? I have some news for you. I was able to buy back the house I and your parents grew up in. I have purchased the property very recently. I really want to renovate it and make it better." "That is great news, Josh. We know how much you've been missing the house. Do you plan to shift there?" "Not really. I love this house now. I just wanted to give the house a second chance. It needs a little love. It had been neglected by the last owners. It broke my heart to see the mansion that way." "What a shame. I heard that the mansion was big and very beautiful. God, I want to see it. I'm so excited. Maybe I can live in it." "I'm going to take you there next week. I was hoping to show you the house so that you can help me renovate it. My health will get worse soon, so I need your help to restore the house. I will pay for everything, of course." Josh took us to see the house where he had grown up with my parents. At first, both me and Tina were excited to see the mansion. Josh had told us a lot of stories growing up, so we were eager to see where he and our parents lived. When we reached the place, we saw that the mansion came with a big property, but the mansion itself was pretty run down. It was old and hadn't been maintained very well. Tina looked shocked by the house. Then she started to get angry. She said, "Josh, this is the house you and my parents lived in? This is nothing like the mansion I had imagined." "I know, Tina. The last owners of the mansion didn't live here or even take care of the place. I convinced them to sell it to me since it was ready to fall apart." I don't want anything to do with this horrible place. It looks like a slum house. My God, the paint is chipping off the walls. Why have you kept this dump anyway?" "This house is my childhood home, Tina. This place holds a lot of sentimental value to me. I had to buy this from the people who owned the place after my father." "You spent money on this wrecked place? What is wrong with you, Josh? I thought you were smart with money, but now I see that you are not. God, you need to have some taste and stop living like a beggar. Watch it, Tina. This mansion is much more than an old house. You can't just insult this place, and you can't insult Josh like that either. You are hurting his feelings. It's fine, June. I thought maybe this time Tina would understand the sentiment associated with this house. I was wrong to hope for it. I get it, Tina. Maybe this house is too shabby for you. Yes, it is, Josh. I'm saying this well in advance, Josh. I want nothing to do with this house. Don't bother leaving me this as an inheritance. I would rather take the money and leave the entire house to June. Tina, what is wrong with you? Josh is right here and you're already talking about getting an inheritance? Have some shame, for God's sakes. It's okay, June. Leave her be. All right then, Tina, since you don't want the house or even want to help me renovate it, I won't leave you this property in my will. Tina seemed satisfied with Josh's promise and looked very pleased with herself. Meanwhile, I was horrified to see what a person she had become. From that moment onwards, I knew that she was far gone, and I didn't want to have a relationship with her anymore. What was worse was what she said when we got home. Tina said, "So, since Josh has laid out his will in words today, I guess we won't argue about who gets what. I don't want you coming after me when that old house gives you very little money." Don't worry, Tina. I am least concerned about getting an inheritance from Josh. I would rather he outlive me. Your inheritance is safe with you. I won't ask you to share or change my mind. Good, because even if you are dying, I won't be giving you my money. I was the one who struck a better bargain. You will have to live with your choices. Honestly, I was disgusted with the way Tina was treating me and Josh. I felt even worse for Josh. He was suffering from the disease and was already in pain. It had hurt him when Tina had insulted him today. After dealing with Tina, I went to talk to him. I wanted to apologize about my sister and make it up to him in some way. I went to his study where he was drafting his will. I said, "Josh, you don't have to take Tina's words to heart. She's an idiot and doesn't know what she's saying. Her friends have been influencing her a lot. Don't worry, June. I'm not upset anymore. And Tina is not a child. She should know right from wrong. I'm afraid she's beyond repair now. Josh, what she did today was horrible. I hope you won't be rewarding her by giving her the money she wants." "Oh, don't you worry, June. I'll give her money, but she will be in for a surprise. I plan to leave as little money as possible. Do you have any ideas on how we can do that?" "I think I may just have the right plan for that, and I think you will like that a lot." Me and Josh discussed the plan I had in mind. I really did want to teach Tina a lesson and make her feel a little less entitled. Also, I wanted Josh and myself to get some revenge as well. Josh seemed very receptive to my idea since it lined up with his plans about the money and the mansion. So we went about putting our plan in motion. Tina had no idea what was about to hit her. This part will be a little hard for me to type. My Uncle Josh passed away just a year after his diagnosis. We tried our best to give him a painless death. He suffered, but we helped him deal with the pain a bit. I was with him till his last breath. Tina was out partying and going on vacation as usual. It boggles my mind how she even afforded those vacations. I didn't have time to ponder over that. Josh was my primary concern. His death left a gaping hole in my heart. It was just as bad as when my parents had died. I hope he is in a better place with them in heaven. When I called Tina to inform her about Josh's passing, I was hit with another shock. Tina seemed to be very nonchalant about the news. She ummed and hummed on the news and said, "So, as you know, I'm in the midst of a vacation. I can't really help you right now. I will definitely show up for the funeral and the reading of the will. Why don't you just text me the dates and all?" "Tina, I need you right here now. Josh has passed away. We are the only family he had left." You are the only family I have. I need your help. I can't arrange everything on my own." "Oh, please, June. You have always been the best organizer, and like I said, I can't help you. I think you'll manage just fine. Just send me the dates and that's it." After talking to her, I was furious again, and I realized that I didn't have a sister anymore either. She did show up to the funeral, but was only interested in the reading of the will. Josh had left her $2 million while he left me the house. Tina walked up to me with a satisfied smirk on her face. Here I was, hoping that she would come to offer condolences and express her grief, but I had forgotten how heartless my sister had become. She came to me and said, "So, Josh did listen to our demands, didn't he? He split the assets just like we wanted." "Oh, so you are here to talk about inheritance. I made the mistake of thinking you are here to express your sadness or something. You're just happy that he gave you what you wanted." "Good to know, Tina." "I feel bad for you, sis. Look at me. I have got such a huge amount of money in my inheritance. Meanwhile, you are stuck with an old and wrecked mansion. Gosh, what would it cost now? Like $250,000? You should not have wasted your money on that old place." I looked at Tina for some time before bursting into laughter. Tina looked taken aback by my reaction. She expected me to sulk and get jealous of her inheritance. She saw that none of that happened. Instead, I was laughing my butt off at her words. Tina was getting pissed at me and said, "Why the hell are you laughing? What did I say wrong?" "Oh my God, Tina. Do you think I inherited an old and wrecked mansion? You must be out of your mind. When was the last time you visited the house?" "Well, I haven't ever been there except once. Why should I set foot in that place again? It is a wreck, so it doesn't interest me. You know I like new and shiny things. Who would want to visit a ruined house?" "I think you should come along with me and check it out once. Who knows, maybe you are in for a big surprise. You haven't been to the house in 4 years after all." "That ruined house won't impress me, June. You might be running after its nostalgic value, but that doesn't impress me. I like my stuff modern and flashy." "I will be going there to close a sale on the house tomorrow. You can simply tag along and take a last look at it once. I promise you, you will be surprised." I convinced Tina to accompany me to the mansion the next day. At first, Tina was a little reluctant to tag along, but her curiosity got the best of her. I would have taken her along anyway. I had been waiting for this day when Tina would finally see the house after so many years. Once that happens, my revenge against my greedy and entitled sister will be complete. Tina and I drove over to the mansion the very next day. Tina was kind of disinterested in seeing the house. She was convinced that there was no way a broken-down mansion would compare to her immense wealth of $2 million. Oh, wait. It was less than that, since the first thing she did was buy designer purses. Don't get me wrong, I like my luxury bags as well, but Tina had no sense of investing money to preserve her fortune. That is one of the reasons why she was so naive about the mansion. When I finally reached the mansion, Tina looked shell-shocked. She said, "My God, June, what is this place? That looks straight out of a magazine. God, I wish I could have a mansion like this." "You were offered half of this mansion, Tina. You straight away rejected it and acted like you were offended that Josh even dared to make this offer." "What nonsense, June. Josh had never offered me a beautiful mansion like this. You must have intentionally hidden this mansion from me so that I can't claim my share. I always knew you had ulterior motives for being near Josh." Your mind really does think in the worst way possible. I guess me and Josh failed to turn you into a decent human being. Anyway, you have been to this mansion before, Tina. I didn't hide anything from you. This is our grandfather's old house, the one you called wrecked and old. No, that is impossible. It was in ruins when I saw the mansion. It had a horribly overgrown lawn with paint chipping off all over. It didn't even come close to this place. I looked at Tina. to take in her stupidity in full form. When Tina was slowly becoming a horrible woman, I was hurt to lose my sister. Now I feel nothing but pity for her. I knew people with a mindset like Tina would never be truly happy in life. I didn't want my sister to be unhappy, but I did want to teach her a lesson. After letting the facts sink in for Tina, I said, if you had really considered Josh's feelings and helped him remodel the mansion, you would not be here shaking your head in disbelief. You were stupid enough to run after flashy things that you missed how beautiful the old mansion could become. I had no freaking idea it would be this good. It should cost way more than what I had received in my inheritance. This is your fault, June. You should have convinced me better. There is no use blaming me, Tina. I did my best to change your mind, but you never listened to me. This is what happens when you become an entitled and greedy person with no regard for people's advice. Just then, a luxurious car pulled up at the mansion. A few people came out of the car and shook hands with me. We went into the mansion together, and Tina was even more impressed when she saw the interiors. The designers did a great job in handling everything perfectly. I could tell that Tina was starting to tear up. When she heard how much the house was worth, she started to have a meltdown. She couldn't believe that I got $6 million for the mansion. I excused my buyers and let my agent handle the rest of the formalities. Then I walked over to my sister and said, there is no use crying about this now, Tina. I'm sure you now regret not listening to me. Too bad that it is too late for you. Why can't you just share the proceeds of the sale with me? This is very unfair that you got such a nice place while I was left with scraps. You are the one who chose the scraps, Tina. Well, since we have already started this conversation, let me tell you what happened. Josh always had plans to renovate the house, but due to his health, he couldn't oversee the work himself. He wanted us to help him out, and in return, he was ready to give us the mansion in an even split. But you took one look at it and insulted his childhood house. Then you stupidly told him to give you money when he dies. But I had no idea he had so little money. I thought I would get more. That's why I gave you full ownership of the house. I didn't think this place was worth anything. That's where you messed up, Tina. In your greed to get the best pick, you chose the wrong option. Josh did have a lot of money, but he had always intended to use most of it to renovate this place. So it was an easy decision for him after you showed your ungrateful side. At that point, Tina realized how stupid she had been. All this while she was chasing an empty purse while the real stuff lay right before her eyes. Suddenly she started to beg me to share half of the money with her. I gently reminded her that she made it clear our inheritance won't be shared. She promised not to help me in my need, and I was doing the same for her. When she started to throw tantrums, I had to drive her back to her place. It was a tough job to get her out of the car, but I managed it. What followed next was a mountain of calls and texts from Tina. She alternated between demanding and begging me to split the proceeds of the sale. Remember how she was boasting about several vacations and parties she had planned? Well, she was doing it all on debt. Now that she has received her inheritance, the debtors were pestering her for the money. You won't believe it, guys, but this woman has a debt of $1 million with $50,000 on credit card dues. I was stunned to hear the figures. Turns out she had been having a luxurious lifestyle for the past year in the hope that she would get a big inheritance. She had no idea that the numbers would be so low for her. Now she didn't know what to do with the debts she collected. Tina was left with very little money after she had to pay off her debtors. She tried her best to live a life on the remaining money. Yes, she still didn't want to work. It lasted her 2 years before she was back begging at my door. I again reminded her of our deal and shut the door in her face. I have no idea where she is or what she's doing. She never cared about me and used me for her needs. There was no way I was keeping any contact with her. If you want to know about my life, let me tell you. I bought a beautiful but cozy bungalow with some of the money. The rest I invested in various things as Josh had told me. I'm doing very well for myself and still work because I don't want to meet the same end as Tina under any circumstances. Also, I'm now engaged and all set to marry next fall. Wish me luck so that I can start my new life with lots of love and happiness.